Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So every so often I come across a story that reminds me why girls don't speak up when it comes to competing against transgender athletes. Why they don't speak up when they are literally forced to compete against male athletes in order to participate. In order to participate in women's sports. Many remain silent when it comes to objecting to competing in that situation under those circumstances, because for many, the backlash just simply isn't worth it. The threats of losing their scholarship, the harassment, the bullying, the labels that are put upon them through no fault of their own, just for simply stating fact. They're called bigots. They are the ones who are accused of harassment. They're accused of outing somebody, revealing private information, when really all you need to do is open your eyes to determine whether somebody is male or female. It's not really private to be a man or a woman. It's just what you are. We heard about Melissa batie-smoose, who not only got suspended, she ended up losing her position as coach for SJSU, and just recently her house was shot at. It was last reported that she has now left that location while they investigate exactly what happened. So she's been forced out of her home simply because she stood up for her female athletes, many of whom were scared about having a male player on their team when it came to training with this person and seeing the sheer difference between a male body and a female body when it comes to sports. So Brooke Slusser, I believe the first girl to speak out about having a male player on her team at SJSU, she's now having a tough time, a really tough time in her last year at school because of harassment and bullying. And Brooke has basically been forced off campus.
If things can keep going the way they are and allowing trans and men in women's sports, there won't be women's sports any longer. I mean, if you want to be successful in any college sport, if you want to have men on women's teams, what's going to stop coaches from just having a whole team of them? Yeah. So the end goal of this is to not allow any young women that have to come into college sports and pursue their dreams go through what my team has had to go through.
So Fox News is reporting that Brooke has gone home to Texas to finish her final semester. She's been forced out of California, made to go home for her own safety, for her own well-being, and is basically working remotely. Former San Jose State University volleyball co-captain Brooke Slusser is finishing her final semester of college virtually in her home state of Texas. So this is after alleged on-campus harassment, online threats, and mental health issues that stemmed from the scandal that rocked the school's volleyball program last fall. So we know that multiple teams refused to compete against SJSU because they have a male player on the roster, or they had a male player on the roster. And Brooke Slusser was one of the first girls from SJSU to actually speak out in support of the boycotts, despite it affecting her, obviously, because it was her team that they were boycotting. Slusser, who is currently suing the school over her alleged experience with former transgender teammate Blaire Fleming, told Fox News Digital that she and her family made the decision because she did not feel safe on the Bay Area campus anymore. Melissa batie-smoose, the associate head coach, or the former associate head coach, she said that all of the students, related to the volleyball program, will know where she lives, and her house was shot at. So it's understandable why Brooke Slusser doesn't feel safe. I would just be walking and I'd have people say things to me, like I had one girl just scream F you to me. I was in the elevator one time at my apartment, and some girls, as they were walking out, were like, oh, that's the girl. You should have slapped her when you had the chance. So those type of things happened. I literally just didn't feel safe. Anytime I left the house, I felt like people were just like staring at me. I felt like I had to watch my back whenever I was on campus. So Brooke joined Riley Gaines in the lawsuit against the NCAA in September, alleging SJSU volleyball coaches and administrators withheld information about Fleming's birth sex from her during their first season together in 2023, all while being made to share changing and sleeping spaces with the trans athlete. And Melissa batie-smoose said that when she agreed to take the position as associate head coach, uprooted and moved to California, All that time, she wasn't even told that there was a male player on the team. And again, this is believable to me because SJSU are still yet to confirm that Blaire Fleming is male. They're still yet to admit that, even in court, during that whole Mountain West lawsuit injunction. They still didn't want to admit it. And the judge rightly said, let's just, for clarity's sake, acknowledge that this person is male. So in November, Slusser filed her own lawsuit against SJSU and the Mountain West alongside 11 conference players and one of her former coaches, alleging Fleming conspired with an opposing player to have her spiked in the face during a match. That lawsuit also alleged head coach Todd Kress tried to have Slusser removed from the team, potentially losing her scholarship as well as her place on the team. Despite this, Slusser continued to play for Kress alongside Fleming, all while being regularly outspoken in advocating against trans athlete inclusion in women's sports. Her advocacy garnered national media attention. Now, I would imagine that some of these people, these activists, probably laid off her while she was still playing on the team, because she was playing alongside this person, alongside Fleming. But now that the season's over and that chapter is closed, I would think people have become more emboldened to target her and other girls who stood up for women's sports. So it was reported that there were threats against Brooke, even while all of that was going on. There was one match where heightened security was required. Some of the players were escorted from their car to the building back and forth. All of that was deemed necessary after Brooke received a death threat. And she said that most of the incidents she never bothered reporting. I didn't, because everything that was happening, it almost became like a norm. So I can't really do anything about what people are saying to me. And as long as they aren't laying their hands on me, they can say whatever they want. San Jose State is currently under investigation by the US Department of Education for potential Title IX violations that occurred during the program's handling of Fleming. University President Cynthia Teniente Matson told Fox News Digital that the university will cooperate in the process. Well, they first have to admit that Fleming is male. How about that? So this is obviously a left-leaning college in a very left-leaning state. In 2024 election cycle, 98.71% of San Jose State University employee donations went to Democratic candidates in federal elections, while just 0.91% went to Republicans, according to data from Open Secrets. So the university are saying that they would have helped Brooke had she brought it to their attention, but she decided to just go home. They said in a statement to Fox, San Jose State takes these matters seriously and would follow up on any complaints or issues that are reported to us or we have information about. So Brooke was saying that even if they had intervened, everything she went through during that whole ordeal was weighing heavily on her, and she came to the conclusion that she'll be better off home. It was probably the most traumatizing thing I have ever gone through in my life. I was so drained, and I feel like for so long I was just running on the adrenaline of trying to get through it, and I honestly would say I was kind of numb to everything for a while, and I really did lose myself. I would like to consider myself a pretty happy person, and I wasn't that person for a while. It's very upsetting to hear about female athletes going through this, simply because they are talented and worked very hard and were able to get a spot on the team. And then to have it jeopardized and destroyed even because the school decides to recruit a male player, because the school decides to bow to gender ideology, with no thought for how it affects these female athletes, not just on the court but off the court too. It was also reported that several players from the 2024 squad at SJSU entered the transfer portal. Even though they had remaining NCAA eligibility, they entered the transfer portal and decided that it was best to finish their university career elsewhere. Maybe at a school that knows the difference between male and females. However, the good news is that Brooke takes comfort in knowing that her actions, that of Riley Gaines, all the female athletes who came together, all the boycotts, that certainly played a part in getting people to come out to the polls in record numbers to vote against this insanity. I went through a lot having to do this, but there still isn't a second where I've second guessed it or wished I had never done this. It was hard, but I knew it would be. And there's still so much that needs to be changed. But there's definitely great baby steps in the right direction. Absolutely. And women still reach out to Brooke till this day, letting her know that they're going through the same thing. I get DMs from younger athletes weekly, basically saying I'm going through this. I've seen everything that's happened to you. How did you handle it? And it makes me so sad that even young ladies in athletics are having to go through this so much. It honestly makes me so angry because I just genuinely don't comprehend how someone cannot understand it this strong. It boggles my mind that they are still even trying to fight for it when everyone knows it's wrong. And that's the fact of the matter. Everybody knows this is wrong. Even those who defend it. They know they're defending the indefensible, and somewhere along the line that became the popular thing to do, but not anymore. So we remain hopeful that we will continue to make progress in all of this, and Brooke can be proud of everything that she has done for women's sports, for young female athletes, and I'm sure she's happy to know that she is on the right side of history. Others are going to have to hang their heads in shame, knowing that they supported insanity and injustices against women and girls. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.